Okay, welcome on, ladies. Today we have the beautiful Fabienne joining us to talk about the energy level pyramid that she has coined and written in her own book, which is called Stuck to Unstoppable. So we're going to be talking about the different levels of energy and how that relates to your affair dynamic that you're in, and how to heal while utilizing this tool. Now, Fabian is a change coach, a transition coach who helps people going through transition, often in relationships. So I think you have a wealth of wisdom, Fabian, and I'm excited to pick your brains here and share your wisdom with this community. Fabian, also, if you haven't listened to or met Fabian through YouTube, there is another interview that you can access, and I'll put the link below to that interview as well. But Fabian has also been the other woman before, so she gets you, she knows where you've been, and that can make it a lot more personal when discussing change, because she knows where you're at. So without further ado, let's welcome you on, Fabian. How are you doing?
Great. I'm so happy to be here with you again, Kate. Love to see you, love your energy. And you are actually a testimonial of this pyramid of energy, pyramid of emotion that we're going to talk about, because you are all about finding the win-win, finding the healing, finding the joy, even in the most painful situation. And we're going to talk a lot about that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you and welcome. And what we're talking about here in this YouTube video today, we're going to be like deep diving in a workshop next week. So if you do want to join us in this workshop, it is in the membership community, and it will be live. So you'll be able to connect with Fabian through question and answers while she's doing this training. So if that interests you, you can go onto my website and look into joining into the community so that you can have access to this wonderful workshop with Fabian. So before we get into these 6 energy levels, I want to talk a little bit about your experience of being the other woman.
Okay.
Would you be able to share a little bit about your personal journey? And as we talk about it, we can also talk about how this tool supported you through that journey, because you had access to this tool at the time, right?
Yes, I did. Actually, my journey started a little bit before this experience of being the other woman, uh, by being myself in a committed relationship, a marriage. I was married for 20 years with my husband cheating on me repetitively. And that's part of the judgment when suddenly you find yourself in the other position. My journey started, so as I say, when my husband, who cheated on me, decided to call it quit. Actually, in his own word, he was tired of cheating on me. Uh, so he left, and I find myself single with 2 teenagers, and the whole transformation of going from being married, as good and bad it was, to being single. And part of my single experience was dating with a lot of self-doubt. I the last time I dated was in my 20s, and now I was single in my late 40s, and it was a totally different dynamic. And as I went dating, uh, I met some people online, I met some people offline, and one day I met this wonderful gentleman as I was networking, and was really attracted to him. But right away, I saw the ring on his finger, and I was like, no, cannot go there. But he was charming, and I can talk to a person without having an intention. So I went to talk to him and had a good time, and we agreed to meet for a coffee. Totally platonic, totally friendly at first, and with a really deep attraction. And obviously the message was probably one of that a lot of your ladies heard. He was miserable in his marriage. His wife was absent. He was unhappy, and he was just looking for more connection. And I was looking for more connection. So thing evolved, and suddenly it was not a friendship. It became romantic. And from romantic, it was very challenging because no, I was the other woman. I was everything that I judged when I was married. I was the woman I found despicable, I let you finish the words, all those bad words I use. That was me. And when we're going to talk about the pyramid, the first level of energy is the self-judgment, the I lose, I'm the bad person. And then, but I was so in love. I was so attracted. So I try to find the solution to that problem. And I look into the other. What is this part of the story? And yes, a second level of energy is turning to the other one, the you lose. Who is a loser in this story? It's not him, because I loved him, so he couldn't be. So it was his wife. It was her fault. It was so much easier to blame her. Oh, if she was a better wife, we will not be there. Then it was, I win. How can I win? How can I find myself? And then I could justify being with him, and then finding the win-win in a relationship. So long story short, my relationship with this man lasted almost a year. Actually, it went to the point where he announced to his wife and kids that he wanted to leave them. We traveled multiple times together. We were lying, we were cheating, we were all the things that were hidden. But at some point, he decided that was enough. And he announced to his family that he was leaving them. And then there was a lot of guilt, a lot of shame, a lot of self-judgment there, but also so much joy. So how to put the two together was a big challenge. And after 2 months living with me, he decided to go back to his family. And since then, I have to say, I met her, I apologized to her, and she was very gracious about it. I would have slapped myself, but they are happy together. And I wish them the best. I'm not sure about what is happening. It's not my story anymore. And something that I know you tell, Kate, is no connection, no communication. This affair was years ago. We're talking at 6 years ago, and we live in the same city. If I meet him today in the street, it puts me back at some level in the trauma. So even though I am engaged to somebody else, even though I'm happy again, I don't feel it's not safe for me to be friend. It's not safe for me to go back at any level in this relationship.
I'm curious, as you talk about these experiences, where if there was a time where you did pass him or something like that, how does that relate to the pyramid that you talk about?
It it relates to the pyramid because as soon as I saw him, I went back to the shame, the blame, the self-judgment. Is it okay if I share the pyramid? I think it will be easier to. Okay,
of course,
let me do that.
that'd be great.
Thank you. So here are the 6 levels of energy. Level 1 being the victim, the depression, the I lose. I would totally put shame and blame, and I am the bad person. I'm the loser in the story. I would put totally it on level 1. So yes, I will cross paths with him, and I will be feeling all those old feelings. I'm the loser in so many levels. I'm the one who was not chosen. Depression, self-judgment, self-pity, but also I'm the loser because I did that. So level 1 of energy, then level 2, which is the anger and the frustration. And the anger and frustration can be against, it's the you lose. But the you, in that case, it's not him because it's done. It's not his wife because she's not existent in our story, in our relationship. The you in that case is me, is the me I was in this affair. And yes, there's a frustration and the blaming. How could you have gone there? And how can you, years later, or months later, or weeks later, whatever it is, feel this attraction? So there's a lot of judgment. You lose in this case is against myself.
So I'm curious with these 2 foundational levels, often when we are in this experience of the affair, we can create such a beautiful picture of the future that could be. And then when we find out that that picture isn't the reality and it isn't playing out in those ways, or there's parts of him that we thought he was fully and there's other parts coming out, is that when we tap into that level 2 where there's a shift in our experience, and then we come to a lot of anger, frustration, feeling used?
Absolutely, it is totally that. Level 1 is more a passive, it's a poor me, it's a self-reflected in a negative way. And then there's the anger, frustration. How could I believe him? How could he use me? But also, let's talk about the level 3, the level of resilience, acceptance. Level 3 is very important because it's a moment where you try to find, how can I win? How can I get out of the relationship? How can I save my own skin in this very challenging situation? And you can have this anger and frustration in a level 3, I hate you, it's totally turned against. But it can be also in the level of, I need to feel this frustration in order to save myself, because that will help me. In the level 3 is, I win, I don't care about you. So that's
so level 2 is like an action level, where there's a lot of a bit more fire in your emotions.
It's a losing energy. It's what we call a catabolic energy, because it's destructive. It's like, I hate you, I blame you. It can be violent, it can be aggressive, but there's no construction. There's not. It's a free emotion. I hate you just because I hate you. It's not, I hate you and I realize it's because I love myself and I want to get better. That's level 3. That's a little distinction. So just since we have the pyramid, let me explain the other level. Level 4 is a level of compassion and forgiveness. So at that level is also trying to see the other one point of view. And let me explain forgiveness, because I'm gonna stop the share for a few minutes just because forgiveness is so important. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay, what he did to you was okay, I need to forget it. That's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is to say what happened, happened, and I'm freeing myself from the situation. I put it in the past, I say goodbye to it, and I'm moving forward. Forgiveness is not for him, it's for you, ultimately.
So one thing with forgiveness is that comes up is it's so easy to say forgive, but it's so challenging to really step into that feeling of forgiveness. Can you tell us more about how we step into that?
Yes, there's so much. Forgiveness is realizing that we are all imperfect beings. So in some way, it might be easier for a lot of you watching this video to forgive the other one. Oh, yes, but he thought he loved me. Oh, yes, he did his best. Oh, yes, whatever. So that's a little bit of excusing and good wishing. But at the same time, it's like, okay, he's not in my life today. Can I let him off the hook? Because it's not about him. It's about me today. That's one level of forgiveness. Then there's a forgiving yourself. Can you look at yourself with love and compassion and say, yes, it was me at that time. And yes, I believed him. Yes, I trusted him. Yes, I made that choice. Can I take it back? Not really. Can I do differently forward? Okay, I'm going to pay attention differently for sure. But I forgive the person I was at that moment, who did the best with their level of awareness, with the level of energy, with their level of self-esteem, whatever was happening in your life at that time. Can you forgive yourself from that point of view? And today, can you move forward saying, okay, this was then. I'm going to have love and compassion for that person. And today I will move forward with a different awareness and change who I want to be in life with a new awareness. That's forgiveness.
Yes, beautiful.
And just to finish about the pyramid, I'm going to share it again. Level 5 is the level of peace and wisdom. It's finding the win-win. Remember, level 1 is I lose, level 2 is you lose, level 3 is I win, I take care of myself, level 4 is you win, acceptance of the other, compassion, empathy, forgiveness, whatever it is. Level 5 is finding the win-win. How can I win? How can he win? How can the relationship win? And something that is extremely important at that level is win-win doesn't mean we are together. Win-win means the relationship wins. It can mean love cannot be destroyed. So unconditional love, I have unconditional love for everybody and anybody. I can have pure unconditional love. That doesn't mean I want to be with everybody and anybody. It's, I love that person. I love them for the lesson. I love for what I learn about myself. And my win is to be out of the relationship and never see him again. Because in the win-win, my win is more important than anybody else's win. And
it's like an energetic win.
It is an energetic win, absolutely. And just to address the level 6 is passion, joy, excitement. And why is it such an important level? Is because as you're going in your journey, you're going to go over and over and over through all those levels. There will be day when you wake up feeling terrible. There will be day where we'll feel miserable and not be able to get out of bed. And there will be day where you want to find a punching bag and just show your frustration.
There's many of those days.
You have all of that, and it's okay. The real synergy level 6 joy level is when you have mostly peaceful day, but when you have a down day, you don't judge yourself, you don't feel negative about yourself. And yes, a lot of grief process is about the spiral. There's a spiral. There's a going back to revisit again and again and again. And if you're not able to accept those revisiting, it's not I'll do it once, I'm done. It's, I do it once, I get better, I go to the next level. I do it again, I get better, I go to the next level. And it's okay. It's going to happen.
So would you be able to, because I think this would be really valuable, for you to share a few of your little milestones of your being the other woman and how it kind of looked on that pyramid? So each energy, and just like a little reference point for each stage that you're in, so that people can relate to their own experience.
Absolutely. So let's go back to this. So let's start in the relationship. First of all, the self-judgment, the shame. I entered this relationship, I didn't feel good, because this pyramid is about the relationship within yourself mostly. Absolutely. It's with the relationship with the other, but it's also the way you feel about yourself, your interpretation of what's going on. So I enter the relationship, feel guilt, shame. What didn't help was when my son, who was 16 at the time, learned about the relationship. He said, "Mom, if you were not my mother, I will call you bad names. I will tell you you're a slut, you're whore," whatever it is. When you hear that from your son, feels really painful. So yes, there was a lot of self-judgment. Then, because I'm not so much, I cried a lot at that level. I was, how can I do that? And then it was anger, frustration at him. Why did he approach me if he was married? At her, how can she let go? She cannot see how amazing he is, and how can she not be a better wife and convince him that he should not be cheating? Sounds ridiculous now, but I absolutely felt it. And that's myself. How can I, who has been cheated on, tolerate this from myself? And then it's a lot of anger. And it can be, so then level 3 is, okay, that's the situation. How can I win? So that's I would say, in the relationship that was grabbing on to all the little moments. Oh, he called me. I win. I have this moment of joy. Doesn't matter that for the whole past 3 days when I didn't hear from him, or I was thinking that he was in vacation with his wife, I felt like shit. Oh, suddenly I have a crumb. And it's like, yeah, I win. I have something. So there's a beautiful joy. You forget the depression, you forget the victimhood, you forget how much you hated him during the week when you could see the photo of him with his wife. But at that moment, it's like, I win. He called me. He was thinking about me.
There's
And
a
then,
very quick shift in energy when a dynamic like that happens.
It's really a lot. And often he comes up with his own level of energy. So let me address that. Let me address first. I win. He called me. Then I can forgive him right away. Oh, he was busy, but he was thinking about me right all the time. And see, we love each other. We are such a good partner, win-win. And yes, level 6, I cried. I was depressed, but it's okay. I'm back up. I'm back up here. I'm back up in this higher level of energy. No, as I say, he came with his own level during the relationship. You have to realize that for your AP, your affair partner, you are often the moment of joy. You are his time out of his work, time out of his marriage. It's vacation. It's out of stress. You're his vacation. So where does he show up when he sees you? He shows up, let me circle it because I want you to say it. He shows up here. He shows up a lot in the higher level of energy. He shows up as a 5, 6. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to see you. Oh, it's so amazing. So you are at that moment when he shows up, you girl are, oh, hey, you are maybe here. Let's say you are level 1, level 2. The energy of a relationship is the average of both energy. So you were talking about the quick shift. Let me explain you why the quick shift. Let's say you're level 1. 1 is level 6. 1 plus 6 equals 7. Divided by 2, average, equals 3.5. Suddenly, you're here. You're between, I'm excited, oh my gosh, I'm so happy I win, and the forgiveness. You're just right in between. So you're going to go from 3 to 4 to 3 to 4 to 3 to 4. Because he shows up there. You might be there. It takes the relationship itself takes you right up in the pyramid. If he was showing up as a pity party, crying, there's a good chance that you will be more in a fighting, arguing type of situation. So that's what happened during the relationship. No, let's see again, coming out of the relationship, because that's also an important
very
part.
Different experience.
Totally different experience. So you get out of the relationship. Most women gonna go in level 1. I lose. He didn't choose me. I was not worthy of his love. I was not enough for him, I lose. I'm here. So something about level 1, level 2. Women tend to go to level 1 more easily because it's acceptable for women to cry. Men tend to go to level 2 more easily because it's okay to fight and be angry. That's ancestral behavior. That's the way a lot of us have been raised. So the fact that you stay at home crying, feeling sorry for yourself is the way you were raised and the way it was told to you it was acceptable. So you separate. I feel terrible. I feel like crying all day long. I feel like I was not enough. Then you try to get better. I'm so tired of feeling that way. I go to level 2. I'm frustrated. I'm angry. I'm angry at him for lying to me all that time. So, yes, how could he have told me that he was not with his wife? In my case, he told me that him and his wife were literally done. And actually, she probably had an affair because she was out of the house 3 weeks out of a month. And then he moved in with me. And what she said is, oh, can I see you once a week for the kids so we can heal, we can just be good as a family? And he said, yes. And I believe him. So, oh, he was lying to me. Oh, he was trying to say he was still loving me. So there's a lot of blaming him and blaming her, blaming myself, blaming whoever. You go to the grocery store, suddenly the person who they say, oh, we don't have 2% milk right now, we have only whole milk at the coffee shop, and you're screaming at the barista, and you're like, why am I screaming at the barista? But I'm so mad at everybody for being in this situation. That's level 2. Then as a separation continue is, how can I save myself? How can I get better? Because I hate this depression, victimhood feeling. And really don't like screaming to everybody, that's not who I am. I'm going to call for help. I'm going to call Kate. I saw this article. I saw this video. I saw something that I can relate to. Can I get help? Because I realize I cannot do it on my own. It's so difficult. If you don't have help, honestly, it's often you go out of the relationship and you come back. Why do you do that? I have so much thing I want to share. Sorry. When transition, you say I'm a transition specialist, as a way I describe me. So when you're going through a transition, there's 3 phases. There's the end, the limbo, the rebirth. The end of the relationship. I'm done. I'm leaving my partner, my AP. I'm so done. I'm tired of it. But you don't go straight from I'm done to I'm happy and I reverse and I enjoy my life again.
We want to.
We want to. It will
we
be
expect
amazing,
that.
but it's
often.
Yes, but sorry, there's this limbo in between. And
Absolutely.
in the limbo, you're not the affair partner, you're not in the affair anymore, but you're not in the rebirth yet. You are in this tunnel of in between.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not as bad, but most time it's not so good. It feels, I'm crying, I feel lonely. There's a lot of self-judgment. You look back, he hasn't chosen me. He must be doing this. And if you look at social media, girls, it's going to be, look, he's smiling. How can he be smiling when I'm not here? Or he doesn't put anything on social media. I'm sure he's hiding something. Maybe he's thinking about me still and he doesn't want to tell me. Oh, so you're going in your mind, you're so crazy.
It is very common for when there is that breakup, for then when we're insta stalking, going through that breakup and trying to get a hit of understanding of what's going on, that they do see their affair partner often even more connected to the wife, and it hurts.
It hurts terribly because it's like, oh, it was a lie. So anyway, during that time, is this limbo tunnel part, in between part. It's really difficult to move forward because you're hurting so much.
Yeah.
And a lot of the time during that moment, you look back at your affair and you are, oh, but yes, I was sad, and yes, I felt undervalued, but there was good moment. There was those moments when we look at each other in the eyes and we know we were perfect for each other. Oh my gosh, yes, it was painful, but it was not that painful. And suddenly you find yourself calling him, texting him, going back, and if he responds, that takes you back to the adrenaline, oh my gosh, excitement moment, and it gets you back to the I win, and you run back there. As painful as it was, you know it was painful. But there's one thing that your body, your spirit hates more than pain. It's the unknown. And you're not in something known anymore. The affair, the pain of the affair, you knew it. You survive it. The proof is that you're here today. So you survive that pain. No, you are in a different time of pain, and you don't know if you're going to survive it yet.
Absolutely. You don't know if you're ever going to get anyone else like
you don't
this
know
person.
if you're going to get anybody else. You don't know if you're going to be happy ever again. You don't know anything.
Financial stability, so many factors.
So many things. So tendencies to go back. That's why abused women go back to their abuser, and abused men, by the way. But that's also why when you're out of this affair, as painful as it was, you have the tendency to look back. Each time you check, you take yourself back. And the more you check, the more it's difficult to look at the other side of the tunnel. As Winston Churchill was saying, if you are in the dark tunnel, keep going. Because you are in the middle. You need to see that there is something on the other side. You might not know what, but you have to keep moving because you know there's some kind of light behind you. You're not aware yet of the light in front of you. So let me go back quickly to the pyramid, because that's what we're talking about today. I need to move forward. The moving forward comes with, I'm going to move forward no matter what. I'm going to find help. I'm going to call for help. I'm going to take care of myself. I'm going to go out with friends. I'm going to do whatever I need to get better. It comes with compassion and forgiveness, essentially for yourself. Can I forgive myself? Can I have compassion for what I'm going through? Can I just look back at the story and see that I was not the only one having an affair? He was too. Being kind to yourself. And finally, it's going to be, how can I find the peace and the wisdom? How can I move forward, rebirth myself, feel the win-win, where He's going to be happy on his hand, and it's not my problem. He will, love and peace to him. But the more important part is I win. And I find joy again.
I would say there'd be a lot of self-trust there as well.
Oh, yes. Yes, you have to jump. It's going, you have to let go of the shore.
Yeah.
When you're going in this transition, you are in the side of a river or of a cliff. It feels unpleasant because you know you're in an affair, you are not the number one. It's pleasant, it's unpleasant. If it was totally awful, you will leave.
Absolutely.
It's not awful.
There's highs too.
There's highs too. It's like drugs. I say a lot of affair is like an addiction. There's good moment. So yes, you are on the side of good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Somebody tells you, you know what, you're going to go on the other side of this cliff, of this river, and it's going to be way better. And you're like, other side? Whoa, I don't see it. So for a while, you're hanging on to the shore where you are. And Kate, when you say no contact, it's like, cut the shore. You have to go there and see if you can swim. And you start swimming and you start going through it. And suddenly it's like, okay, I can do it.
This is possible.
It's possible.
It feels
sometimes it's
so
like,
good when you get there.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, I go back to the shore. But when you get far away from the shore, the further away you go from the shore, especially when you cut the cord of the shore, you're like, that's it. I'm done. That shore doesn't exist anymore. I'm moving forward.
Yeah.
Then you suddenly, instead of swimming like that, looking back, you're swimming looking forward. And then it's like, oh, yes, it's a little bit fuzzy, but I see there's land on the other side. I see I can find something else. I see I can find joy again. And then you go, and there's not a definite edge. It's one day it's a little bit better, and then you cry for 3 days, and then it's 3 days that are better, and you cry for 1 day, and suddenly it's like, oh, I haven't thought about him for a little bit. So imagine you haven't seen him you thought of him somehow, somewhere for a month, and then suddenly you check your social media, guess what? It takes you back.
Yeah.
It's very important to let go.
To have those boundaries.
You have those
for yourself.
boundaries.
Absolutely.
Yes, because that's how you can focus on where you're going forward to.
It's your self-protection.
Mm-hmm. And on the energy level, it's you living your life more on level 5, level 6, where I'm going to find peace within myself. I'm going to find a win-win for this relationship. And in that case, this relationship, the win-win going to be, he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
And if you can find on top of that, the wisdom of it. What did I learn? I work with a lot of women who are like, oh, yeah, but what did I learn through this terrible situation? You learn to value yourself because you left. Sometimes you learn that you were lovable because somebody was loving you, if it was genuine love. Sometimes you learn about having fun. I have a lot of my clients who have been in affair like that after being single for a while, and suddenly somebody is interested in them and they are like, oh yes, that's what it
This
feels like to
feeling.
be, oh, that's what it feels like to be touched, that's why it feels like to be in love. I like it. Yes, you like being touched, you like to be in love. That doesn't mean you like it from him. That means you like it. You
Mm.
get the knowledge of it.
Mm.
Can you
The
have
taste of
that,
it.
the taste, with somebody else? Because I'm sure you like the attention, I'm sure you like the joy, but at which price?
Mm.
You like the 10% of the relationship that makes you happy, but you forget there's 90% of it that you're not happy with. When you are in level 5, when you are in level 6, you suddenly trust that you can find this level of happiness, this level of connection, this level of joy. It will not be the same. It will be a different flavor of it, but it will still be delicious.
But
You
you've
will
lost
find
the
it with
dependence.
somebody else. Yes,
Mm.
yes. So
Beautiful.
to go back to my relationship, yes, it was when I say, you know what, I deserve to be in love again. Because I thought after my marriage, I will never be in love again.
Mm.
And what that relationship with that man taught me was I can be in love again. That's amazing. Oh, question that I have all the time. Are we soulmate? Yes, you were soulmate. Soulmate are two souls that meet each other to learn from each other. You
To
met,
learn a strong lesson.
you learn the lesson. That doesn't mean you need to stay together for the rest of your life. You went to first grade, you learn a wonderful lesson, you learn to read and write. Does it mean you need to stay in first grade the rest of your life? No, I learned that lesson, I move on to second grade.
Mm.
So you learn that you can be loving each other. You learn that you deserve to be loved. You learn that you can have joy or whatever you need to learn. Or you learn to say no and set boundary. That might be an amazing lesson too.
Or to accept
And
ourselves through these hard lessons. I think there's so much that can come when we go through something that we never expected of ourselves, and
oh
can
yes,
forgive ourselves through that shame that we experienced from living that.
that's huge, huge, because I can tell you, you will have other moments when you go back to level 1. I was telling Kate before we start talking on this,
Recording.
that pyramid, this recording, we, that pyramid, you will go over and over through it,
Yeah.
at home, at work, in your daily life. You're driving, there's a suddenly there's a traffic jam and you're like, poor me, oh my gosh, I can't believe I lose, I gotta be late. Then it's frustration against yourself because it's like, I left late, that's my fault. It can be frustration against somebody else. Look at this driver, how is he driving? Where did he get his driving license? Really? I was so frustrated. Then it's like, you know what? I'm going to arrive. When I arrive level 3, I'm going to accept the situation, then forgiveness. Okay, there's more traffic than it used to be. Good, forgive. And then it's like, okay, find a win-win. Maybe I should give a call to the person I have an appointment to tell them I'm going to be late and I'm going to be calmer. Win-win. How can you find a win-win? So you can use it
In
in
every
daily
experience.
life. Every experience, that's something that you experience over and over again. And let me remind you, the level 6 is accepting that you will go through all those levels over and over again.
Mm.
And more peaceful and the happiest you feel, the more you might judge yourself for going back down. You're like, come, I'm gonna be honest. What was it? 4 years after I broke up with my AP, actually, first time I broke up with him, he moved back with me. Second time he broke up with me because he went with his wife. So I go the two. But after that, I did all this work. I had all this wisdom, and I was healed. And suddenly he called me and he said, "Can I see you for a coffee as French friend or only friend?" And actually, to be honest, it was to asking me where you could find nice restaurant in Paris because I come from Paris. Totally got me, totally pushed me over the edge. And I was so mad at myself for going down the loop again.
Yeah.
But I did. The thing is, how long do you stay in level 1, level 2, level 2? In that case, I was like, bleep, oh my gosh, I feel terrible. And then I was frustrated, and then I climbed back up within a day. That's the difference. Can you go back through those levels within a day, within an hour, instead of going through them through years or months of self-judgment?
And that's a muscle you get to exercise. Like,
yes, the more you practice it, the more you're comfortable with. Last time he sent me a text for my birthday, and I say thank you. And I was, oh, do I go there? No, I know better. Goodbye. But it's a muscle. As you say, it's like, I'm very clear about what makes me happy. And the more times go by, the more the edge of the river where we were together
holding on.
Totally, it's fading. It's not there anymore. And now I look at it with almost tenderness. It's like, oh yes, I learned so much about myself through that journey.
Oh, it's incredible the things you can learn in this experience. Yeah. We learn through our deepest, darkest times. So you're getting your learnings for sure.
Yes. And you can learn, that's not something you learn through books.
No.
You learn so much better, so much faster through experience.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's so many lessons in this. So we get to have you next week on the 23rd. Let me double check. Yes, it's the 23rd.
23rd.
In New York time. So a Thursday or a Friday, depending on what time zone of the world you're in. We would love to have you join if you feel called to participate in this workshop and meet other women that are going through this experience. It is definitely a safe place where you can get support on what you're going through and all the emotions that you're having to hold alone. So if you feel called to that, come join Fab in this container.
Yeah, I would love that. And with your question, I will be able to tell you, oh, yes, you're more in level 1, level 2. How can you go? Something as a last word, don't forget, it's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be angry. You have to go through this little step of being a little bit mad. And if you're mad, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. You're doing great.
Yeah, absolutely. And that compassion, sometimes it helps so much having someone to be able to mirror that to us when we can't find it ourselves. So if you do want to come into this container and see which levels you're bouncing between and how to support yourself on raising your energetic vibration, then we would love to have you in that container. We'll put the links below to join. You do need to have a call with me first to be able to join to ensure that it is a safe container and it's right for you. So without further ado, thank you so much, Fab, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you in a week.
Looking forward to it too. Bye, Kate.
Beautiful. And
Bye
I just want to quickly, because we didn't reference your book too much, but Fab has written all this work is in her book Stuck to Unstoppable. And I can put the link to Fab's Stuck to Unstoppable book so we can have access to that as well.
Absolutely. And I will also send this video about cutting cord, and that I promise I will send to you. I'm going to send it right now. So you will have it, and you are welcome to share it. It's on my YouTube channel. So
Beautiful.
You can go there.
Yes, I will pop that in as well. Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. See you later.